Hello and welcome to my channel Inspo Vibes with SK. So today we are going to talk about behind every want there is a fear. Let me start with a story that dates back to my army days when I was training to be an officer. So we had this swimming test in which we had to jump into the pool from a 10-meter height. So I was, I think, about 5th or 6th in the queue. So 2 girls before me, they went and jumped in, passed the test. Thereafter, there was these 2 girls who went, and the moment they looked down, they kind of froze, wouldn't jump. 2-3 times they tried, and then they were asked to stand aside, and then I went up. The moment I was going up and climbing, the swimming instructor, he told me, Kaur, the moment you reach there, just go for it and jump. Don't look down and let any thoughts come to your mind. Well, I didn't understand why he said what he said, but I trusted him. So I went. The moment I reached, I just jumped, and I also cleared. So what is it that this story taught me? It taught me that so many times in our lives, we want so many things. We want to do so many things. But the moment we pause and we look down into the pool, then this chatter in the mind starts. It starts telling us about all the negative consequences and all the things that could go wrong. And all that chatter creates a fear in us. We want to go for the jump. We want to clear that test. We want to go to the next level of success. But the moment we pause and we get into this thinking, that appetite for risk reduces, and all the thoughts of what could go wrong become so overpowering that we freeze. Isn't that what happens to us so many times in our personal lives and in our professional lives as well? We get so comfortable in our environment. The moment there is something new that is expected of us, the moment we want new results, better results, we need to do things in a different way. For doing things in a different way, we need to take the risk of leaping into the unknown. We need to take that leap of faith. And those are the times when most of us will freeze. Because the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure often paralyzes us. So what do we do in such situations? In such situations, I would say, instead of getting bothered by the fear of failure, why not look at the worst case scenario? What could possibly go wrong? What's the worst thing that can happen? And that's what I do personally as well. So whenever I'm faced with a situation which is new, which is unknown, which demands that I do something differently, which I don't normally do, I look at the worst case scenario and I say, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? What is my bottom line? I'm not going to die. This is not going to kill me. This is not going to end my life. If that bottom line is clear, everything else is doable. Everything else is, why not? And after all, it's about the appetite of risk. The more risk-taking ability you have, the more you will step out of your comfort zone and try and do things that are new. And there's another aspect to it. that stops us. We all know you have to do better, you have to do things differently. We all know you take big risk, you get big rewards. However, most of us don't do it. Most of the time we get into this of avoid decision making. We say, let's postpone it. I don't have to decide today. I'll look at it tomorrow. Let's wait. That wait and watch and procrastination of a decision making often pushes us further and further into complacency, so much so that we start adjusting, we start reconciling, and we resign ourselves to that situation that is not working for us. Isn't it also true in our relationships? Many a times we have difficult relationships, we have sticky relationships, whether it is at work or in our personal lives. However, the mere thought of getting up and taking action, doing something about it, makes us so nervous, and we say, okay, maybe I'll think about it tomorrow. It's okay, when it gets worse than this, I will do something about it. As a result, time goes by, days become weeks and months and years, and then we get so complacent, and we have adjusted ourselves, resigned ourselves to that situation, that that fire and that need to do something to change it just dies down. And where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? It leaves us feeling frustrated. It leaves us feeling no fire in our belly. It leaves us feeling totally lacking in enthusiasm and passion, and blaming anybody and everybody. We start blaming the other person, we start blaming the situation, we start blaming fate, we start blaming everybody and everything around us, and then that frustration builds us into a negative person who's always cynical, who's always speaking negatively, and who always becomes snappy. Is that the kind of person we want to become? No. Then what's on the other side? Take a little bit of risk, get up, take charge, and take a decision. But where does that stop us again? We want things to be different. We want to be in a happier situation. We want to be in a healthier relationship. But behind that want is a fear. So just the other day I was reading, somebody shared a thought of our former president, late Dr. Abdul Kalam, and he said, you know what, don't spend time reading success stories. Spend more time reading stories of failures, because success stories tells us only what worked for someone, okay? But the failure tells us what doesn't work. So why do we need to live through those failures in order to discover what didn't work? So we get more lessons by listening to failure stories. So how do I connect it to what I'm trying to say? Is when we want to take risk, but that fear stops us, basically that is the fear of failure. So what? Worst case scenario, you will fail. Your decision would go wrong, wouldn't give you the desired result, but at least you would have learned what doesn't work. Try again. Right? As long as your bottom line is clear that any of these decisions is not going to lead to your ending of your life, it's okay. Life is all about learning, life is all about experiencing, life is all about doing the new in order to get new results. So my friends, in summary, I would like to say, behind every want is a fear. We all have wants, but what stops us from going all out to make those wants achievable is that fear. And that fear is of the unknown, the fear of failure, the fear of taking risk, and what if I don't get what I want. Okay, so overcome that fear, look at the worst case scenario and say, this is the worst that can happen. I'm fine with it, I accept it, and consciously I'm going to take that decision. Believe me, the moment you overcome this fear, life is going to be full of abundance. Life is going to be full of things that you wanted and you got. Some of them you may not get, fine. Those would be the lessons of what doesn't work. Be wiser next time. But don't stand at that 10-meter height and look down and think about, what if I drown? What if I jump into the pool and break a leg by hitting the floor? What if I don't come up? Don't let this chatter in your mind about what could go wrong stop you from taking an action to do something different and follow what you want. So with that, I come to the end of today's story. I hope somewhere it resonates with you. We all have wants, but what stops us is behind every want there is a fear. Let not that fear stop you. Let not the fear of failure pull you down. Build your appetite for risk and go for the things you want. Be clear of the bottom line and what's the worst case scenario, and don't procrastinate decision making. Because if you do, you'll end up frustrated and you'll end up blaming everybody except for your own self. So live a life of abundance. Go follow your wants. Don't take those decisions. Increase your appetite for risk and live a fulfilling life of abundance, success, and joy. Do keep watching videos that I post every Wednesday, and if you like this video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel by clicking on the bell icon if you've not already done so. And if you have any thoughts on this topic, do write in your comments. I would love to hear from you and reply back. Till we meet again next Wednesday with yet another story. This is SK signing off. You take care, be safe, and keep watching Inspo Vibes with SK. Adios and bye bye.